thank you very much. I'm Colonel Jeff Ogden, as introduced earlier. Some of you know me. I've been there next to Greg Gardner probably since summer of '07, so I guess I got a little bit of knowledge. I did start the job with a full head of hair, and this is what's happened. So did Greg, he tells me, but he started much earlier. Anyhow, what I plan to do in the next several minutes is just kind of give you a quick update what's happening at Fort Knox. Then I'm going to turn this over to Colonel Scott Cottrell. He's going to talk to you about what the future looks like at Fort Knox now as we look at the HRCOE, the Human Resource Center of Excellence. And then Colonel Greg Gardner is going to talk about, of course, one of the larger units that will be coming on board, and that's the Human Resource Command. So the first slide, okay, it's just a timeline of events, but I want to just focus you in right there on the yellow. That's where we are on this timeline of events. Of course, starting back here, lots of things have occurred. For those in the community, you know that we gained the Infantry Brigade last summer. They came. They are here in great strides now. They are almost at full strength now and building. And so that was our first big surge. It was last year. This year, we're getting ready to enter into that next big surge, which is when we bring in the Human Resources Command, the Accessions Command, Cadet Command. But oh, by the way, we're not finished yet because still in 11, we need to then bring a large reserve component. So that's where we stand today. Of course, there's a lot that has to occur as far as bringing all these units. There's a lot of associated infrastructure. And if you've been on post lately, there's probably not a road or sidewalk that's not been torn up or being repaired as we make room for these new units to come on board to increase the infrastructure, the efficiencies, and the capacities of roads. Wilson Road, for example. And I'll talk a little bit more about that in a moment. Next slide. Okay. I'm happy to say right now at this point in time, all the projects are on time, on budget, on schedule. That's good news. That's good news for the Army. And that's good news for us, both inside the gate of Fort Knox and both outside the gate of Fort Knox. We've had the Infantry Brigade, all their facilities are done, and they're in there, and they're liking what they have. And I can tell you that I've been where they were and saw what they had, and they're very pleased with what they've got. The picture in the center, right there, that's the big building, or that's the complex as we affectionately refer to that. Target date on that, we will be occupying that building 3 June of this year, 2010. That's just one of the Infantry Brigade's complexes complete. There's Wilson Road. We are just waiting for the weather to break, and it has broken. The asphalt plants are opened up again, and we're looking to have that Wilson Road complete. The weather stays with us. If there's a chaplain in the audience, please help me with in early June. By the time we open up that building, we should have 4 lanes on that Wilson Road. So that's good news. I just got done talking to the contractor yesterday. So that's very good news. As you know, too, a lot of growth in the housing area within Fort Knox. And you've seen some of the demolition going on, renovations, and actually some new build. And that's well on with our partner. Matt, please. There you go. We also build associated infrastructure things like child development centers. That's what that center picture is. We'll be having a ribbon cutting ceremony for that facility later this month. And then, of course, what we call our shop ed or a convenience store. We just increased, tripled the size of the existing one that's there on the corner of Wilson and Spearhead, open, and it's already full. Next slide. Okay. General Milano talked about the famous inhale. You know, I'm a kind of pretty thin guy, and I've had to work out with General Milano on increasing my aerobic capacity. But we are there. We are hitting this point, as General Milano talked about. And numbers, there's lots of numbers out there, so we don't try to get, but these are projections. And so you can see this is where we're headed. We're going to do this little like bell curve, peak up in 10, and then come down to our steady state as the Armor School starts to move in earnest. And as General Milano said, we'll just start to do an exhale, slight exhale, later in this calendar year. And then, of course, accelerating to 11. Next slide. This is a busy chart. There was debates whether to show you, but all I wanted to show you was lots of things happening here, lots of stars aligning, truly, and actually. We will go from basically 4 general officers on the installation to upwards of 17 on the installation, with the senior now being a 3-star on the installation. So what you have here is, if we will, the legacy, and here's where we'll transform into the future of the installation here, the alignment. And again, Colonel Cottrell will talk more about that as far as how it looks in the future. So I didn't expect anybody to read that. There'll be no test on that particular chart. Next slide, please. Okay, and this is my final chart. But of course, no planner is without a good map, and that's our road map here to success. I would tell you we've filled in most of that already, and so without much discussion on that, we're going right along to getting that done. This is just, of course, showing the area. I'll orient some folks here. This is the Eisenhower and the Wilson going down here, so you can see the split 31W over here. So the complex is over on the eastern sector of the installation course, and this is our what we call our downrange area of Fort Knox. I'll give you some ideas. The PX and commissary for those familiar down in this area. So that's our master plan map, and that's our road map to success, and that's how we see Fort Knox looking in the 2011 and beyond. Because once we get there, we're not done from a master planning perspective. We continue to look fast forward to the future. And that is my final slide. With that, I'll pass it on to Colonel Cottrell.